I woke to the thin blue of morning and the soft relief of a Saturday, then felt the wrongness. The desk was too clean. The rectangle of dust where my laptop should have been stared back like a chalk outline. For a few seconds, I told myself I must have left it in my backpack, or the living room, or anywhere a reasonable person misplaces a month-old machine with my thesis draft on it. But the backpack sagged light. The living room was a museum of folded throws and remotes. The quiet had a shape, absence. Downstairs, my mother was stirring oatmeal like it had personally offended her. My father was pretending the newspaper was news and not habit. "Have you seen my laptop?" I asked, trying to keep my voice from cracking like cheap ice. They traded a glance, so quick you'd miss it if you weren't looking for all the things people don't say. My mother exhaled. "We gave it to your cousin," she said. "He needed it for school." The sentence landed like a door slamming in slow motion. I laughed, a small, ugly sound. "You gave my laptop away." My father folded the paper with surgical care. "You weren't using it last night," he offered, as if that were legal precedent. My mother added, "He starts classes Monday." His was broken. "We thought," her voice trailed off into the kind of ellipsis that expects gratitude. He crawled up my neck. "You thought you could borrow my work without asking? My files. My life." The oatmeal kept circling the pot, a quiet, maddening orbit. I looked at the dust rectangle on my desk, as if looking hard enough could reverse time. I wanted to throw plates. I wanted to say something that would make the floor split and swallow their certainty whole. Instead, I took out my phone. "Call him," I said. "Right now." My father sighed the sigh of a man who believes patience is the same as virtue. "We'll get it back Tuesday," he said. "He just needs—" "I need," I said, and the words came out too loud, too sharp. The neighbor's dog barked in agreement. My mother's eyes softened into apologies waiting room, but she didn't cross the threshold. "We'll fix this," she said. "We can't fix what we don't ask permission to break," I replied, and left the room before my anger learned how to fly. By noon, I'd paced a groove into the hallway carpet. My cousin, Leo, lived 15 minutes away if you believed maps and 30 if you factored in family. I texted him 3 times, escalating from, "Hey, need to borrow my laptop back," to urgent, "My thesis is on that machine," to the naked, unornamented "Call me." He replied with a thumbs up, and then, insult to injury, a selfie of him at his kitchen table with my laptop open, the glow of my wallpaper on his face. "I'll take good care," he wrote, like a ransom note with a smiley face. I marched downstairs with my keys. My mother stepped into the doorway like a well-meaning bouncer. "Let us handle it," she said, palms up. I could feel my voice tightening, building a little bone cage around every word. If I took Dad's car without asking and left a sticky note that said, "Be right back Tuesday," would we be having a calm talk about empathy? My father looked somewhere near my left shoulder. "It's family," he said, which was either a reason or an excuse. With us, it was usually both. "Family shares. Family asks," I said. "Family respects yes and no." What I wanted was control. What I had was a plan. I opened my cloud backup app with the fervor of a televangelist and watched the little dots march across the screen, syncing, restoring, resurrecting something that looked like hope. Then I remembered I had paused large file uploads the night before to speed a video call. My last full backup was 3 days old. In those 3 days lived 2 polished chapters, 100 annotations, and a folder of interview audio that might as well have been bottled lightning. I could feel my throat closing like a fist. So I did the only sensible thing available to an unreasonable day. I called Leo. He answered on the 3rd ring, airily cheerful. "Cuz, I'm optimizing your desktop. You had so many icons." I sat down before I fell down. "Stop touching anything," I said. "You didn't have permission to take it. I need it today." He chuckled. "Auntie said it was fine. I'll bring it back Monday after my orientation." A red haze bled into the edges of my vision. "There's no after," I said, each word a small, sharp thing. "There's only now. I'm coming over." I hung up before he could bury us under the soft dirt of another favor taken for granted. In the doorway, my mother exhaled. "Let me drive," she said. I shook my head. "You've driven enough." Leo's building smelled like old lemons and new paint. I climbed 3 flights rehearsing a speech that had more scaffolding than content. I statements, boundaries, consequences. He opened the door wearing my college hoodie, which was either a joke or an omen. My laptop sat in the center of his table like a crown on the wrong head, its screen bright with a settings window I did not open. "You made good time," he said. "We were just—" He meant he and the laptop, a we that rewired my jaw. "I'm taking it now," I said, already crossing the threshold. His posture tilted into defense. "Auntie said." "Auntie doesn't own it," I said. "And family isn't a magic word that dissolves consent." I slid the power cord out of the wall, slow and steady, the way you remove a splinter. I didn't trust my hands not to shake. "My work is on here, Leo. My interviews. My encryption keys." He blinked. "You have cloud. I have gaps," I said. "And the people I talked to trusted me to keep their words safe." The room, to its credit, was very quiet. He tried a softer angle. "I need to register for classes. Orientation is Monday. My laptop died, and I am sorry," I said, meaning it and hating that I did. "But you don't fix your emergency with my oxygen mask." You ask. Maybe I say yes. Maybe we find a solution together. I opened the lid to sign out. My heart stumbled. 2 of my folders were open, timestamps blinking fresh. "Did you touch these?" He hesitated. "I moved some stuff. Your desktop was chaos." The heat in my face found a pulse. "You reorganized my brain," I said, without asking. I closed everything, unplugged the charging brick, and cradled the machine against my chest. "Here's what happens," I said. "I take this home. Tonight I'll help you order a refurbished model that won't eat your rent. Tomorrow I'll swing by with a loaner, my old one. We'll make sure you can register. But my laptop is not community property." He leaned on the chair back like he'd discovered gravity. "You're mad." "I'm clear," I said. "That clarity will be here next time, too." We stood in the doorway, 2 people considering the cost of easy. He exhaled. "Okay. I'm sorry. It wasn't eloquent, but it was true." I nodded and started down the stairs, the weight in my arms a promise to myself I finally meant to keep. Back home, the living room looked like a courtroom where no one wanted to claim the judge's chair. I set the laptop on the coffee table and watched both my parents track it, guilty and relieved at once. "We need rules," I said, the word steady now that the machine was back within reach. "Not vibes. Not its family. Rules." My father opened his mouth, then closed it with the care of a man putting away a sharp knife. My mother folded a dish towel she wasn't holding. I took out a notepad like I was drawing a map out of a maze. "Here's what changes," I said. 1, ask first. 2, no is a complete sentence. 3, if it's a yes, we write down what, when, and until when. 4, nothing with work or privacy leaves this house without me. I slid the pad toward them. This isn't punishment. It's how we keep loving each other without turning affection into trespass. My mother's shoulders loosened a centimeter. "We were trying to help," she said, voice small. "I know," I said. Helping without asking is just a prettier word for taking. My father cleared his throat. "It felt urgent," he said. "Leo's orientation. I don't want to be the problem you solve with someone else's emergency," I said. "We can be generous and still have boundaries. Those things aren't rivals, they're teammates." He looked down at the notepad, as if the lines could bench press a habit. "Write it," he said. "We'll sign." So we did. 3 names under 4 rules. A treaty taped inside a kitchen cabinet beside the instant coffee and the cinnamon we only remember in December. That night, I restored what the cloud had saved and rebuilt what it hadn't. Between progress bars, Leo texted, "Order the refurb." "Thank you. Didn't realize how much I was asking until you said it out loud." My mother slipped a small tray onto my desk, a place for keys, for pens, for the little domestic passports that keep a day moving. "Ask me before you use the tray," I said, and we both laughed. For the first time since morning, the house felt like a place where my yes would matter because it could also be a no. The dust rectangle on the desk disappeared under the laptop's weight, and with it, something softer returned. Permission, asked and given. Sunday afternoon, the house felt like it had exhaled. I brewed coffee and lined up small bowls for snacks like I was hosting peace talks with myself. My mother hovered in the doorway, then knocked on the frame. 3 light taps, a ritual we were not too proud to borrow from kindergarten. "Can I come in?" she asked, and the question untied something in my chest. She set a folded dish towel by the keyboard. "A truce flag," she said. I smiled. We already signed the treaty. We stood there in the comfortable silence new agreements make, the kind that doesn't need an anthem to be real. Leo texted a photo of the refurbished laptop, scuffed, honest alive, with a caption, "Meet Frank. He boots." An hour later, he sent a screenshot of his course registration, then a voice note that stumbled over 4 versions of "I'm sorry," until it landed on "Thank you for not giving up on me." I replied with a loaner pickup time and a list of starter apps. After dinner, my father came by my desk holding a small latch. "For your door," he said. "Not a fortress. Just a click you can hear from the hallway." We installed it together, 2 turns of a screwdriver to tune the house. The test arrived sooner than I expected. Monday evening, my mother poked her head in and stopped herself. "Knock. Could I borrow your tablet for a recipe video?" she asked. I checked my calendar, weighed the ask against the work, and felt how much lighter a yes was now that it wasn't compulsory. "Until 9, I said. She grinned like a kid trusted with a real spatula. Later, she returned it with a dish of lemon bars and a sticky note. Returned. 8:43 p.m. condition, sweeter. We laughed. Rules hadn't strangled our generosity, they'd given it a spine. The difference between raid and sharing was 6 letters and a question mark. That night, I cleaned the dust rectangle one last time and let the laptop reclaim its square of wood. I rewrote the note on my desk in thick marker, "Ask first. Answer honestly." It wasn't a law, so much as a map of how I wanted to live with the people I loved. Doors that click, calendars with boundaries, a family chat where borrowing has a subject line. I opened my thesis and watched the cursor blink, patient and unafraid. Somewhere down the hall, a drawer closed softly. Someone had learned a new kind of quiet. So had I. Not less love, cleaner love. Love with a handle you could hold. Monday night, the house sounded different in a way you only notice when you stopped bracing. The new latch made a soft, satisfying click, no drama, just punctuation. I brewed tea and opened my thesis. The cursor blinked like a metronome that trusted me to find the tempo. In the family chat, I pinned our new borrowing rules and added a calendar link. It wasn't fancy, but it was visible, like laying down a bike lane so cars remember you exist. A text arrived from Leo, a photo of a student ID and a caption registered. "Thanks for the lane." I smiled into the steam. At 9 sharp, my mother returned the tablet with a flourish and a plate of lemon bars. She set it down like a librarian, reshelving a rare book. Borrowed 7:02 p.m., returned 8:59 p.m. condition. "Stick here," she said, leaving a sticky note to prove it. We laughed, but under the laugh was something gentler, respect that didn't need to put its hands on its hips. My father lingered in the doorway, listening to the latch's second click. "You were right," he admitted, "about rules not being cages. They're handles," I said, "so we don't drop each other." The next test came from outside. Our neighbor, Mrs. Patel, knocked with a casserole in a favor. Her grandson needed to print a boarding pass. Their Wi-Fi was sulking. "If it's not a bad time," she added. It wasn't, and the ask felt like a breeze. Light because it was carried by choice. I printed the pass while she told me about leaving Gujarat at 22 with a suitcase and a recipe for dal that tasted like a drumbeat. As she left, she tapped the note on my desk. "Ask first. Answer honestly." "Good sign," she said. "Better practice." Later, I backed up everything twice, set the cloud to unpause, and watched the progress bars climb like careful hikers. I named the backup, choice _ not _ raid _1, a private joke, a public promise. Before bed, I slid the laptop into its sleeve and rested my palm on the lid. It felt like a heartbeat returning to a steady rate. Down the hall, a drawer closed softly. The house had learned a new grammar. Not silence, consideration. Not ownership, agreement. I switched off the light, the latch clicked, and the day ended on a note so ordinary it felt radical. Peace on purpose. By midweek, the house had found its rhythm. It wasn't that nothing went wrong, just that when things did, they didn't spill. The latch clicked, the calendar pinged. The rules held like a quiet scaffold. One evening, my father forgot his wallet and asked, from the hallway, if he could use my printer. "Sure," I called back, surprised by how natural yes sounded when it had been invited. Later, he returned with the printed receipt and a note in my handwriting. He'd copy the words from my desk sign. "Ask first. Answer honestly." He'd even underlined honestly. I left it taped to the fridge, The magnet holding it up was shaped like a heart. Friday brought rain, the kind that presses everything flat. I worked at my desk, laptop humming steady, tea cooling beside a candle that smelled like vanilla and wet sidewalks. Leo called between classes. "You know what's weird?" he said. "I treat this new laptop like it's alive. I back up everything. Name files. Ask before touching shared folders." He paused. "You started something." I told him it wasn't about laptops. It was about learning the weight of other people's things. "And their peace," I added. "Peace is weight, too." He laughed. "Heavy but worth carrying." I smiled. "Exactly." That night, Mom asked if she could borrow my headphones for a podcast. I nodded, and she waved her phone to show the note she'd added to our family chat. Borrowed 8:12 p.m., returning before bed. When she brought them back, she whispered, "Didn't even tangle the cord." It was the smallest kind of progress and the biggest kind of grace. One knock, one question, one soft return at a time. I realized that maybe peace wasn't a finish line. It was maintenance, a habit we polish daily until it reflects us back clearly. Before bed, I added a new sticky note under the first. Peace is a shared device. Handle with care. The laptop blinked in the dark, the fan sighing like contentment. I backed up the final chapter of my thesis and exhaled. No dramatic music, no final confrontation, just a home that had learned the choreography of respect. I switched off the light, heard the latch click, and smiled. It was the sound of safety doing its job quietly, the sound of a boundary honored. Some victories don't shout, they hum.